listeners to the Saturday Morning Beefcast. This is going to be episode 5, Treasure of the Moks. We're still continuing our wonderful trek through Thundarr, the Barbarian. My name's Jay with Retro Pop. Whoa, what's that?
And our wonderful trek on of how to figure out how to do this in the first place.
Yes,
we're now slowly trying to figure out what the heck it is we are doing.
It's almost like if somebody threw me in the water and I'm just trying to learn how to swim. That's what we're doing here. Yes, we dipped our toe in the video podcast area, and we have transitioned to audio, where you can find us on Amazon, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, pretty much anywhere you can find your podcast that you listen to besides this one. But you should only listen to the Saturday Morning Beefcast.
And now Aric will shut up and let you do your thing, because I probably had a little too much caffeine this morning.
Well, I had to re-caffeine. Well, I don't know if chai has caffeine in it, but I dropped my chai, and the lady was nice enough to make me a new one. So
you've been re-chied.
I've been re-chied. But anyway, my name is Jay with Retro Pop Gaming. My co-hosts are
Aric Whalen and
Laschita Whalen.
We are with Super Secret Project X and LLC with very little product at the moment, but we are more than willing to, show up and talk about Thundarr. So
exactly,
so that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, and everybody's going to appreciate that. I know you guys work really hard on your stuff, and spending time recording this awesome podcast. So
I'm enthusiastic, really I am, but I am also full of pancakes.
I made pancakes this morning.
Yes, he made pancakes, and that is one of my kryptonites. And I'm trying not to go into carb crash right now.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. I have a giant cinnamon roll waiting for me in the next room. I'm I'm not touching that until afterwards.
That's good times right there.
Yeah.
Getting all sticky fingered after the podcast. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't want to do that before the podcast. I want to do that afterwards. So I have to worry about, just one part where, hold on a second, guys.
And you're typing and there's a slight moist sound to it.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
We should probably talk about Thundarr.
Okay. Episode 5, Treasure of the Moks, Thundarr the Barbarian. This was a really broke one mold. I was really excited to see. We have our first I think it's our first female villain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, not only first female villain, but we also had a chance to actually see more than one Mok.
Yes, later we get to see. Well, the first thing we see is old man shaman Ukla. It's not really Ukla, but it's a Mok, and he's just wandering around. I actually forgot exactly what he was doing. Was he being chased?
Yes,
I think.
It's either he was being chased. I'm looking at it now. He's looking over the shoulder. He was definitely being chased
by a bunch of what looks like a bunch of guys who read what pirates were, and so now they're trying to recreate what they think pirates were back in the day. It's like a bunch of aliens saw read what cosplay and then what pirates were.
Well, so he was getting chased and he got surrounded by these guys, and there's 2 little groups. And the first group I see, I think there's 3 or 4 of them, and they just it looked like they were 90s fighting beat 'em up game street gang guys.
Yeah.
And then you've got
the captain,
right? And then you've got Team Rocket on the other side. They just got the little skulls on their chests.
But all of the guys in the scuba gear with the skulls, which, by the way, I really like that design.
Yeah.
But what's really funny is they drew them all exactly the same. So they all have the same hair, the same face. It was just a cut and paste character.
It's like the worst high school mascot. Captain Harlock scuba divers.
Yeah, I'm getting this weird kind of, Captain Harlock and plus they have like, I guess they have like studded like wristbands and belts
and leg band for whatever weird reason.
That's where I was getting that 90s street gang vibe. It's pretty awesome.
But what's great is they have their flippers on, so they're running around the apocalyptic jungle chasing this like 300-pound mock wearing flippers. And I was kind of hoping they would do that funny flipper walk, but they didn't.
They're just always prepared, just in case, they got to be prepared for that dive.
Which is funny because later on we'll see one of them get shoved in the water and he looks scared.
Well, maybe it's all for show. He can't swim. So he gets surrounded, and our wonderful saviors come in, and I just love that Thundarr swings in like Brendan Fraser from George of the Jungle. Oh!
Well, the song of my people.
Just everything about this is what I love is we watched this last night. Mm-hmm. And this was the first episode that I recall where it beginning, middle, end, it just flew. Like there was almost no pauses in this episode.
Yeah, it did. It had a really great pace to it, which I really loved because like that's why I got so many notes, because it was just like it hit so many good beats just constantly all the way through, which was really nice. Is like as soon as it starts, like you got somebody being chased, and then you see these crazy villains, and you're introduced to the main villain already, and you got action. It's really good. And of course
somebody definitely was on cocaine when they made this.
This was nonstop.
It's so good. And then I love so you've got Captain Cordon. She's there, and she's looking pretty badass. And I'm like, this is awesome. Really good character design. We get a pretty badass female villain. And Ariel rides in on her horse. And I just love that she comes in from the left riding her horse and rides right past Captain Cordon like, yeah, I'm not even concerned about you at this moment. And as she rides by, the captain's just like swinging her sword like, hey, come and fight me.
This is what I love, is Ariel is this clear female empowerment character, and one that I really like. And she charges in going like, the men are in battle, and she's got her like the sun glowing over her head with her magic. Yes. And you're right, she goes right by, and she's like, oh, it's just some chick, and she rides by, and I'm going like, well, how does any girl in this universe get any serious credit if the main female empowerment character ignores the main female villain? She's like, she's probably just making the men a sandwich.
Move, Pete. Get out
my
way. Get out my way, Pete. Get out my way. Move.
There just should have been a really good fight with those two. I would have really loved like a like an arm-to-arm struggle, like grabbing their arms, just like,
make puberty happen fight. Yeah,
exactly. Yes, exactly. That's what we're looking for.
Look, I'm just saying, if there was a muddy pit, and some sassy music going while that, I'm not going to argue.
Hey, Captain, I found this stuff called Jello. Oops.
Lords of Jello.
Lords of Jello. This would have been the title of the episode. Lords of Jello. What is this mighty? Oh my gosh. So they do a little bit of fighting, and Captain Cordon decides, well, we need to go find this treasure. So she blows this little whistle, and this beautiful ship just comes from the water in the background, and it's just this wonderful mix of aircraft carrier, Dragon Ball Z fused with a pirate ship. It's just like they missed the fingers, not quite exactly, so it's not quite perfect, but it's awesome. I just love it.
Well, there's also a bunch of nice details on this ship that I really like.
It's very detailed.
Like there's huts on it with like straw roofs and cannons sticking out.
Yeah.
And what's floating it is not the bottom of the aircraft carrier, but gigantic logs from trees that must have been thousands of feet tall.
Just a raft.
It's like a battle raft and an aircraft carrier and everything. And I'll come out and people go like, well, the artwork's not that great. I'm like, push that aside. We all know that they were dealing with budget and time issues on the show.
Right.
Look at it for what it is in the show. And this is the part that I was hoping you would love, because this ship is one of my favorite ridiculous, crazy things in the show.
Yes.
This is just, they put sails on an aircraft carrier. There's sails on this thing. And there's like wooden fortresses built on it. And
those nuclear engines don't last, 2,000 years, apparently. So.
Apparently.
I gotta move it somehow.
Like they took down the giant redwoods out of California to make this thing, by the looks of it.
And then on the front of it, like 3 of the trees are sticking out further, and they sharpened points at the end.
Yeah, they made
like they're going to battle ram New York with this gigantic thing.
Maybe they saw the Statue of Liberty walking around. It's like, dang, we got to protect ourselves.
Hey, Bob, did you see the Statue of Liberty last week? Yeah, we got to build ourselves some kind of aircraft carrier size river pirate ship.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan.
I love that they've got this huge battleship that you could pretty much probably cobble any kind of weapon together that you want. But how they fight back from this beautiful ship is to fling bees at everybody.
Mutant beehives.
I loved it. I was just like, bees.
Okay, you know what's even better about this?
You know what's even better
about this? Okay, because you don't see these guys in the rest of the episode. If you watch that segment, all the dudes operating that catapult with the hive on it are wearing like full body rag suits to protect themselves from the bees.
Oh, I did miss that.
Yeah, they're like rudimentary beekeeper outfits almost. It's like a combination of like the old school Scarecrow from Batman with like beekeeper outfits. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So somebody went, all right, as long as we're going to be launching beehives, maybe these guys should be protected.
Right.
So it's not like this is what I love about this show. It's not that it's perfect. It's not that it's a huge deal.
But that one spot of thought.
It's the fact that they did it.
Yeah. They have these crazy ideas, whatever they throw at the wall, and they run with it. They're like, do we have the budget for that? Well, just do the best you can. Is how I feel. And then it's just wonderful.
and I have it paused on the catapult right now, and some of the details on the catapult don't necessarily fully make sense. But they still tried to build something that's actually a potentially real catapult. Nothing about it looks wrong. And they spent the time to, detail it up and make it. It's like 2 stories tall. This is like, yes. I mean, this beehive you guys can't see this because we're in audio now. But this beehive, if it's just sitting on the ground, is like a story tall. It is like a really freakishly large beehive.
It is ginormous.
And they show the scene just real quick, and then they're like, beehive, go! And this, and then it gets launched in the air, and it lands, and it cracks open, and like football-sized bees come out of this thing.
And they actually call them. What did you get the name of them? Because I missed the name of what the creatures are, but they actually
I must have missed that.
Ariel, they actually said the name. Yeah,
I can't remember it, but they did say it. She's like, "Oh, the bees, whatever they're called." She's like, "One sting from those is instant death," and I'm like, "Not brilliant. Don't care. Love it." Instant kill bees. Giant instant kill bees. That's terrifying.
That sounds good. Instant kill bees. I like that. Instant kill bees.
We only got 2 more hives of instant kill bees. Just throw one at them. You don't want to waste the others.
For Margaret near you. Instant kill bees.
Oh my god!
A new product from Stingo.
Stingo, I like it. I like it, Stingo. So they're fighting off these bees, and they're actually having a hard time. And Thundarr actually takes his sun sword and lights some grass on fire, some brush on fire to create smoke, and that smokes the bees away out of everything that they could have done. I mean, I'm sure Ariel could have, bubbled them, like she did to the monks or something like that. But
well, no, she did actually something clever. Let's go over one detail for her because you are right. She should have just been able to be like, bees dead, ting, because she's done that.
Right. Right.
Okay, so the bees go after one of the horses, and so she puts a murder field on the horse. And the horse is still like, bucking and stuff, but when the bees go after it and they hit it, the bees died. So she kind of had this moment where she creates the murder field around the horse, which then makes me ask the question, why hasn't she done this trick before? Because how many villains can you take out by putting a murder field on something? But I digress.
Well, maybe she doesn't want to kill people, just, giant murder bees. Okay,
now you may have a point there. It might be that specific. But then we also have to bring up the other fact of this fight, that Thundarr did something smart. This is one of the smart Thundarr moments.
Yeah.
Where he didn't just sit there. I mean, he did. He swung his sword a couple of times and he failed.
Right.
And then he goes, Thundarr, brain activation!
Brain go.
Brain!
Words of brain.
And then he's like, maybe we should try something else. And he brained for a minute. So good for Thundarr. He brained good.
It's like when he stopped the train by cutting the hydraulic line.
Yeah.
So he has his moments.
So as much as he is a dumb plug most of the time, a heroic dumb plug, a well-intentioned heroic dumb plug, but he's kind of dumb most. We have to point out when he does something right.
Gotta give him some of his props.
That one brain fold just kicks in every once in a while.
That one cell that's knocking around. He's like, it stops for a minute. This might be a good idea.
So the smoke hits, and the pirates are, and I will do it, and I'm turning this into a horrible repetitious joke, but they do it in the show. Pirates out! And the pirates just sail off while they're being sieged by bees.
And I just had to laugh at that. Just one weird moment of the captain lady walking across the tightrope out of nowhere, and she's just swinging her sword, walking as she's laughing at them getting attacked by the bees. I don't know why that stood out to me, because it was just so weird. I'm just like, ha 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 ha, you're gonna die. I'm gonna walk across a tightrope.
She's just enjoying herself. She's like, I won. I'm gonna take a victory walk on my little tightrope here.
Look what I can do in this kind of. It's like, what the heck?
All right, so because I keep bringing this up, and I hate to do this, but it's this pattern is Ariel shows up in the beginning of the battle by right, jumping over something on her horse, because that's what we do on this show.
I typed that down too.
then they kill the murder bees with the Thundarr smokescreen maneuver, and this is now the first time that the horses enter the scene by running in by themselves, jumping over a log. So they're like, horses! And they do the little ocarina thing. And the horses come rolling in and they jump over the log. So, log jump sequence again.
Activated, yes. That was pretty good. And they hop on the horses. And they're going, and we've got Thundarr and Ariel. We got Ukla, and I know he's got a name, but it's that shaman, shaman Mok. And Ukla is talking to his little buddy there, and they're just and Thundarr just goes, so, and Ariel's like, and like, what's going on? He's like, oh, they're after the treasure of the Mok. And it's like, oh, okay. I just love that. So doesn't explain anything at all. Just like,
well, what I love is right before this moment, and I hate to be that guy, I gotta bring it up again. They jump on their horses over an airplane engine. This is now like the
Yes.
fourth jump over something scene in this show.
I think we need to start keeping a what do they jump over tally.
Yes, yes.
We should have started that.
The show has like a quota or something like that. They have to jump. They have to jump over something. Somebody has to say Thundarr no, and
Thundarr, no.
And he has to yell the yell of his people.
yes.
Okay, now I'm trying to remember because I don't remember if it's right here or if it's just almost. We're almost there.
Mhm.
There's this great scene and it's so weird that Ariel did this. She kind of goes over to Thundarr, but not as pretty as me, right, Thundarr? And I legitimately in the show went, or when I'm watching the show, I went, that's not how she normally is. It's kind of this weird moment, but it was totally worth it because it's one of my favorite Thundarr moments. She's like, pretty like me, right, Thundarr? and then he doesn't look at her, rides for another 6 seconds without looking at her, and then just rides off, saying nothing. And then she just kind of pauses, looks at Ookla, and Ookla goes, and she's like, thanks, Ookla. You know? There's this weird moment where she's fishing for some affection, and Thundarr's like, you don't get none. Thundarr out. You know,
that part was so weird.
It's such a strange scene.
Because Thundarr's talking, and he tells the shaman orc, he's like, hey, go back to your village and get prepared because these guys are coming for your village, your people. Mm-hmm. So they're on the horse, and he just raises his arms as they're riding, grabs a tree branch, and he's like, old Ookla out. And then gets off that way. And then this is where Thundarr...
Oh, that's
I watched it this morning. Thundarr says, that's Captain Cordon is evil and beautiful.
Right.
Oh,
and then Ariel's like,
yes.
But I'm just beautiful, right, Thundarr? And it's just like crickets. And then, like you said, he just rides off. It's so weird, but so good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay, fine. It's not quite in character for Ariel, but it's ridiculously in character for Thundarr. Like, they couldn't quite to get her part right, but he was just like, I don't know what you're talking about, and then just leaves. Oh my god, I love that so much.
And that part to me, it's like, okay, that was either one of the stupidest things Thundarr did or one of the smartest things Thundarr did. For not responding to that.
He read a book that said, ignore women and they'll want you more. That's
I bet I know what happened. They were doing the script. There was a new guy on the writing team, and he's going like, she should fish for some affection here. Pretty like me, right, Thundarr? And then his next line was Thundarr turning, going like, by God, woman, you're gorgeous. I love you, and everything's great with the world. And then when the old writers went, you know, that's stupid, but I tell you what if we just remove his line and have him ride off and snub her? And then all the other guys go, yeah, that's Thundarr. Yeah, that's Thundarr. Let's do that instead. And the new guy's going like, but romance.
No romance for you.
There's no romance on this show.
So I have to think at this point, because we've never really addressed it, Thundarr and Ariel's like relationship. Like I feel like it either goes one way on like a teeter-totter. Either they are bumping uglies when they feel like it and just not, and like that's just it. Like they're just fulfilling carnal urges, and then everything else is just like, you know, we're co-workers, you know. Or Thundarr is just completely not interested at all, because he's never really shown any interest in any females in the show, regardless of who they are.
Well, see, I don't think he's heterosexual. I don't think he's homosexual. I think he's violence sexual.
I like that.
I don't think he's actually into sex at all. I think he's just into whooping the crap out of things.
He's Thundarr sexual.
No, thank you. That's even better. He's Thundarr sexual.
I love it.
He's Thundarr sexual. Because you can read it in a bunch of different ways. And I appreciate the fact that you actually went there, because the more I'm watching this, the more I'm going like, what is he? Because Ariel's just smokingly hot for like an 80s cartoon character.
Yeah.
And so it's like, there doesn't seem to be anything there. We don't want to talk about the mock option. We're going to not talk about it.
Yeah, we'll shelve that for now.
We'll shelve that for now. And there's, as far as I can recall in the whole series, there's no evidence of him showing any interest in anybody. But what he is really excited about, mauling the crap out of wizards and sorcerers and monsters and stuff.
Yes, and
So
lobsters, as we find out later too.
So I'm thinking we're going to stick with Thundarr sexual. That makes sense.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I don't want that on a shirt.
That's what I was just thinking too. And then people are gonna be like, "Okay, I know what Thundarr is, but what?" And be like, "Watch the show, you'll understand."
Or you just punch him.
Well, you know,
let me demonstrate.
Exactly.
You know, if Thundarr therefore had a battle manual, it would just be called the Thundarr Sutra.
I'm just looking out the window, seeing what's going on outside. You know, not too much.
Pondering your life choices.
Snow's almost gone out there. I don't know about you guys.
It's a nice sunny day.
It's been a long week. I needed to say something stupid.
Congratulations.
I love it though. I love it though.
Challenge accomplished.
Yes. Oh man, so we get that great back and forth with Thundarr and Ariel, and then we find out that the bad guys are gonna make a pit stop before going to the Mock village. They're like, we need, what they call them, fire lances?
Yeah.
I think they call them fire lances. They're looking for missiles. So they stop off at an abandoned U.S. naval base somewhere. And it's pretty cool seeing like all these ships that are like all disheveled and destroyed and stuff like that. So they're
some of the nicer backgrounds in the show so far, actually.
What's that?
Some of the nicer backgrounds in the show so far.
Actually. Yes, very much. I feel like their budget was a little nicer for this one. It was kind of nice to see. So they're there and they're loading up all these nukes. I love that Captain Cordon says, yes, we must prepare for the slaughter. And Thundarr is like, I don't know, he's got to be a good quarter mile away at this point when they're riding up to there. And he's like, there will be no slaughter today or something like that. There's no way he heard her. There's like no way.
His Thundarr sense was tingling.
There's no way.
Weirdly enough, I was just thinking that. My Thundarr sense is tingling. Somebody just said slaughter. Slaughter.
So you can feel the slaughter in the air.
I know. Oh my gosh! So I think they're loading those nukes I don't think they're nuclear powered because
torpedoes.
They're torpedoes.
They're just torpedoes.
They're really big torpedoes,
giant torpedoes onto the pirate ship, and they're fighting, and Thundarr's like, he goes to cut this rope that's holding one of the bombs, and Ariel's like, Thundarr, no!
There it is.
Thundarr, why? I don't want to hear Thundarr, why? Of course, it drops and explodes and knocks them all out. I'm like, oh my gosh! So he had this great smart moment with the bees, and then he just canceled it out.
The brain went smooth again.
Well, okay, but let's be fair now. Thundarr doesn't know what that thing is.
That's very true.
So he's dealing with giant insects, and it's pretty smart going like, well, smoke might do something. But with that's just another weird object from the past that he doesn't know what it is.
Yeah.
So I'll give him a little bit of credit here that I wouldn't so much say that it's because he's dumb. He's ignorant.
The other thing I would say is that because it's something that the bad guys want, it's probably most likely in the area generally of being dangerous. So I would kind of want to be a little more careful around it. But again, and of course, I'm not Thundarr sexual, so I can.
And of course, with Ariel like screaming Thundarr no, and he just ignores her and does
What?
yeah.
And what I love is during that whole scene, which by the way is one of the better looking explosions animated in the series.
Yeah. Yes.
But when the torpedo's flying through the air, there's just this great shot of Ariel in horror watching it go through the air, like, oh crap! And then it hits this other ship and just goes in a beautiful explosion, boom, and the whole area lights up. And it's really actually quite nice because unlike a lot of moments in the show, they don't take this kind of time to show like the air moving and the world shaking and like everything lighting up bright, fiery orange and then showing the end result. And again, not great, but a pretty darn good shot of like this old naval ship with the front of it just blown open.
Yeah, they didn't have to show that, but yeah.
I'm like, good storyboarding, guys. That looks really nice. Then we come back and Thundarr's laid out and Captain Hot Pants is laughing and they throw our heroes ragdoll. I mean, as in they're completely limp. They're like Stretch Armstrong. They just dump them wiggling through the air into the hold of a ship.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. I'm like, are they all knocked out? Because I think they started with Ukla, and I'm like, wait a minute. And then, yep, they're all they throw them all into the hold. Now it's just like, and then we get the best. I forgot to type this down, but I'm glad I remembered. The only time I've ever heard a bad guy ever say this, he's like, "Why aren't we just killing them?"
Yes.
And she's like,
Yep.
"I have something better in store for them." I'm like, "What could be better than just eliminating your enemy?"
Yeah.
And then she blows her little whistle again, which the first time she blew it called her ship.
Yep.
The second time she blows it calls giant mutated monster lobster.
I want to see an overcut of this of her doing that, and it's the song from the Green Ranger.
Oh my gosh! I'm just
there's an interesting detail we're skipping over here. She grabs Thundarr's sun sword.
Yes.
She grabs a sun sword, and this kind of answers a question everyone would be having in this series, being like, why doesn't someone just steal the sun sword? So she has it, and she tries to activate it.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. So it's completely useless, basically, to, I guess there's a password or something? She doesn't know what it is. Whatever it is, maybe she needs Thundarr meat hands to activate it. I don't know. But there's this great moment where they go, no, the villain can't take his super weapon and use it against him. I just thought that was a nice little detail.
It's super nice because...
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying her fingerprint doesn't work on the home button.
Yeah.
Doesn't recognize her DNA.
It's a smart sword. Yeah.
Yes. It's super nice that they show you this. She picks it up. She's like, can't get to work. And then unfortunately, she just tosses it in with them instead of throwing it in the water or something like that. But it's really nice that they showed that, but they didn't explain it.
Yeah.
You know, they're leaving that for later. A little bit of lore that they're like throwing in there. And I got like vibes of like Adventure Time in a way, because a lot of time you watch Adventure Time, something happens and they don't explain it. And it's something that is more prevalent, like down in the series where this is what happened here. You know, she picks up the sword, can't run. And then everybody, you know, if you're watching this for the first time in sequence, you're like, why couldn't she use it? Like, you know, so it's nice that they're starting to get into that. You know, we're seeing more Moks and we're getting a little more information on the world and our beloved characters.
Okay, so we're down in the hold.
Yeah.
Thundarr and gang wake up.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a lobster or it's a crawfish. I don't care what the thing is.
Yes.
It's a crobster.
Crobster.
The crobster. The giant crobster comes after them. And it's like squeezing its way through the hole. And for those at home who have not seen this, we're talking big. We're not talking Godzilla big, but we're talking like easily 12 feet long.
He's beefy. He's got to be, I would say, 12 to 15. Yeah, because Ukla was like smashing on his tail with a big piece of metal, and like the tail was longer than him.
Yeah,
and it was just
at least 6'5".
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
Okay, so they go through one of those armored, like, naval doors with the big wheel that seals it shut, and they're like, we're safe, let's go get sandwiches. And then
Yeah.
claws just go right through the metal wall. So we're going
Just like
like,
tin foil.
yeah, like tinfoil. So I'm going like,
Yeah.
yeah, not a surprise. We all know the monsters in Thundarr are beefy. But still, it's this kind of, oh, we're safe. Crunch. Ah, okay. You know?
Yeah, they went through that door, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine. You know, it'll just be on the other side, just kind of like, I can't get to you guys." But it just went, just like a can opener with clay. It's like, tink, 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 tink.
And came right. No, I take it back. That's way more than 12 foot. That's like over 20. That is huge.
It's
Because it's claws,
monstrous.
like almost
Yeah,
Thundarr size.
it's beautiful.
What was the point I made last night about why Ariel didn't do something? I can't remember what it was. Because she puts a band around the eyes, but I was like, wait a minute. I was like, why didn't she just like take it out or something like that? Because it was, I can't remember what it was that I said, but it was like she could have just easily just took it out because she's taken out so many creatures before. So
All right, well, now let's be fair here. When we see her take things out, it's usually because she like sets it on fire or something. This is like an armored chitinous being. I mean, it's maybe she has like in video game terms, she doesn't have as much armor piercing as required to get through the shell of the crobster.
Right.
My thought was maybe she's like, it's almost Green Lantern like, where when she does her magic, she has to think about what she has to do, and unfortunately, she's just kind of like not very creative with a lot of the stuff, and so it's like they're fighting the giant crobster. Oh crap! Put a binder around his eye.
She comes from new magic.
I'd like to see a redone scene that like defines it a little better. So you just see her do like the little girly run, and she's going like ew, like she's so grossed out that she can't concentrate on her magic.
Yeah.
Or she forms a little tiny fly swatter, just swatting at it.
No,
just
bad.
A big slab of butter lands on it and starts melting, but doesn't
I
do
was just
anything
gonna say
else.
butter. Oh my god!
And Thundarr's like, what?
I will say that the metal, the big metal plate that she put over its eyes, gave me flashbacks of Beetlejuice when Beetlejuice put the metal plate over the mouth of I think her name is Barbara, the mom.
Yes.
The ghost mom. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah. Anyway.
Clearly another movie that ripped off Thundarr.
Right, exactly.
You said Beetlejuice. I was having like Digimon flashbacks with the weird creatures that had the bands over their eyes, like the giant mammoth thing above me. But that was me. So.
You're diving into a pool I've never been in, so I can't. I never got. I just know the song Digimon, Digital Monsters, Digimon are the champions. That's all. That's the only Digimon anything I know. That's it.
We're not Pokemon, please don't sue us.
All rights reserved.
All right, now we're gonna get one of these moments that rarely happens, but does happen, and I think it's happened once before. But I love this. Is Ariel runs into the torpedo? They all run to the torpedo room, but Ariel's like, "It's the torpedo tubes, Thundarr," and Thundarr goes, "Torpedo."
I gotta capture this look. That's a great meme.
Torpedo.
It's what I mean is he's not necessarily stupid. It's just he doesn't know stuff. So when Ariel's using kind of big, more than 2-syllable words, it sometimes confuses him.
Yes, this poor guy. Torpedo.
Great look. I'm gonna use that for a meme.
Yeah, they get in the torpedo room, and the crobster's still coming after them, and they're just like, what do we do? And I don't know how it would still be functional, but Ariel puts Ukla in one of the tubes, hits the button, and says,
"Get in."
She says, "Fire 1," and hits the button, and he shoots out, and he gets out of the water.
Can we slow down for a second? There's this moment that we need to discuss here.
Okay.
Ariel's like, she opens up the torpedo tube, and Ukla's like getting in, and she's like, all right, Ukla, and she's talking into the tube, we're gonna launch you into the water. And Ukla's like climbing in, going like, what's this tube? And then he goes, did you say water? And she's like, clang, and then she seals him in. And so he gives us a moment where he's like, she said water, right? She's aware I hate water, right? She's like, yeah, I'm going to launch him underwater. And he's going like,
oh, crap.
Help! Let me out! Help!
I forgot. I missed that part. Oh my god!
Oh my god! The sorceress is insane! Help me! I'm trying to move. She's gonna soak me.
I don't want to be wet.
I mean, either point, like Moks don't like water.
It's one of the things on the show, and they keep mentioning it over and over again. They're like, Moks hate water, and she's like, oh, we'll just get him a little wet.
It's for the greater good, Ukla.
It's for the greater good. Yeah, because I think she mentions like, okay, once you're in the water, like swim up to the top and you'll be fine. He's like,
and I gotta say, for comedic effect, you're right. We're at the point now you're talking. She slams the button, and you just see this great, it's almost even silly, but the shot of Ukla just squirting out of the submarine and sailing through the water like a torpedo with like the bubbles and everything. And I'm just sitting there going like, so basically this is the most horrifying thing that's ever happened to this guy.
He's going to be so traumatized after this. Oh my gosh. So she shoots Ukla out and he gets out okay. And then we cut back into the torpedo room and she's trying to put Thundarr in the tube to shoot him out. And he's like, no. It's like, I want to fight this thing. So he manhandles her and shoves her, and she's like, what are you doing? And throws her in the tube. And then he says, I just love that she said fire one when she set off Ukla. So then he says fire one. I was like, no, that's two. I guess he can only count to one. Okay.
But again, give them credit for that. That's actually really funny.
It was good because I noticed it and I was just like, oh, that's.
Well, it's not only that, but I just love the fact he's like, no, woman, get in the hole. Clang, fire one. It's just like this weird. I love everything about this. This is so
he's an idiot, but he learns by watching, and so he was just repeating what he was doing.
Right. I just love it.
Fire one.
Oh my gosh.
And then Ariel squirts out of the submarine, bubbles and everything. And I'm just going like, why do people not know this show? How did this show not go on? Like, look, He-Man is great and all, but there's nothing like this in He-Man. This is so good.
Yes. Oh, I love it. So he shot her out so that he could stay and take care of the cropster, and we just get a shot back outside of Ariel and Ukla, like, oh my gosh, what's he doing? And then the ship starts to sink, and Thundarr just ends up cutting his way out, and he's just like, yeah. He's just like dusting himself up. Yep, took care of that.
Which leaves the audience just going like, what? Why didn't you just do that before?
He could have just escaped and just left it alone.
And I gotta say that this ship is made out of like the most crappiest material, which is probably why the cropster was able to even get through, because that giant thing falls on it, it pauses for like a half second, and then the entire floor just goes, and the thing just falls through, and then all the water just comes through. It's like the thing was made of like gum foil or something like that.
Gum foil. Oh wow. And then so they get out, and then we finally get to the Mok village, and we get there before the bad guys. Somehow, I don't know how they got there before them. And we get not only do we get more Moks, we see female Moks, which was very not surprising, but I was was happy to see that. I was like, yes.
Variety.
Well, not only that, but you see child Moks. You also see Moks with different kind of hair binding. The costumes are
Yeah.
all very similar, but they didn't keep drawing the same thing over and over again. They
Right.
clearly designed a bunch of different Moks. And
Yeah,
it's
it
not
was-
like I'm going like, oh my god, the variety. It's slaying me. I'm all a tingle. I'm
Right.
saying that good for them. This was a good looking, solid, you could believe it was a small community of hairy,
Yeah.
metal faced bear ape men things.
Yeah, it's, like I said, it seems like their budget for this one was a little nicer because they were able to spend that time, because they could have easily made like just 4 or 5 designs and then just copy and pasted, all those characters. But so they're getting ready for the pirates, and we get to this point where I just couldn't believe I saw this, and I actually had to take a screenshot and I tweeted it out earlier.
Right? I spotted.
They're putting, I guess they're putting up barricades. I'm not sure. There's 2 Moks behind like this little rock platform, and they put up, I don't know, they can't be much bigger than like half of a poster, a big sign. And one of them is obviously supposed to be a spoof of the Jaws poster. You see a shark head and it says JA on it. So I'm like, okay, it's part of a Jaws poster. And the other one is part of a Star Wars Return of the Jedi poster, but
Yes.
it is the original title for Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Jedi. So you see the Revenge on there. You see the Star Wars, you see Revenge. And I thought that was really, really cool, because we have not seen anything like that in there. We've not seen any cross pop culture stuff in this show. And I don't think you see that kind of stuff, especially not in He-Man. He-Man's not going to be showing like, like the Smurfs or something in there. You're not going to see that kind of stuff.
Well, there's something else too, being you can kind of see a story happening here, that either the writers or the artists that did that art saw the that brief moment where, Revenge of the Jedi, because I believe a few theaters actually had those posters out.
I think it did start that way.
Yeah, there was this very short period where that was out, and so you get this like Revenge of the Jedi, and somebody was like, dude, I just saw what the new Star Wars movie is called, and then put that in there. And then so there was like this microscopic glimpse in time that this artist captured here. And then a lot of Star Wars fans don't even know that it was called that. And so it's just this neat little moment where I go like, you can kind of think of, you were like a young guy working on this show being all geeked out about the new Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And you sneak it into the Thundarr the Barbarian artwork. And
That,
then later
be
on,
so fun to
like,
do.
"We changed the name of it." And he's like, "Oh shucks, I didn't get it." But now we're all kind of going like, "Dude, it says Revenge of the Jedi. That's awesome."
Yeah, that is so cool. And I had to Google to make sure. I'm like, I think I'm remembering this right. It was originally called Revenge of the Jedi. They weren't just changing the name so that it could be in the show and not get hit with any copyright, but it was cut up enough and changed enough to where it didn't really do anything. But yeah.
Well, what it says is Star Revenge of the Jed. So I mean, I'm sure you can't sue them for that.
Revenge of the Jed.
And it says because it has that Star Wars border where Star's up in the upper left and Wars is cut off in the lower right.
Yep.
And that says Star Revenge of the Jed. And on the other side is, you're right, Jaws. Except that I think it's the German translation, and it's just called Yeah.
Yeah. It's just called Yes.
Yeah. And so there's J.A. with a shark. Yeah. Which is funny, because earlier episodes, there was a movie poster for like Jaws 9.
For what?
There was like a movie poster in the background when we were in one of the subway scenes. There was a movie poster for like Jaws 9. And
you're
literally
right.
made Jaws 9. I think it was like 8 or
something. You're
something.
right. I think that was like in the first episode.
Yeah, I think
one of the first couple of them. Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, or I don't know. Anyway, now that you mentioned that, yes, I do remember that on the subway. Wow, I love it. I love the show. It's so good.
I love it.
So they're getting ready for the attack by putting up movie posters, and and I love that the bad guys, they stopped and got all these torpedoes, and their solution for
I know. Keep going.
for attacking the village that's on land with torpedoes from the water is to create giant torpedo trebuchets or catapults. It's just like, oh my gosh, I
No,
love it.
keep in mind, you now have the reason why Thundarr and the gang got there before the pirates.
Mm.
The pirates had to make this
Oh yeah,
torpedo catapult thing.
they're like, how do we get these? What?
And to be fair, again, I have it paused looking at this catapult. They spent some time illustrating a nice gigantic catapult, and it's a different catapult than the giant beehive catapult. It's the torpedo bolt.
A torpedo bolt.
I mean, this thing is huge. So, and what's great is it doesn't launch one; it launches 3 enormous torpedoes at the same time.
Yeah, I was like, what a waste, because they all hit like the same spot. Yeah, that'd be a big explosion, but you're still only hitting like one spot.
Yeah, but they hate that spot.
Just that spot right there, just get it.
Salt the earth.
It insulted me. Get it. That blade of grass right there.
And they didn't do the friendly Saturday morning cartoon thing of it like exploding off in a field and somebody goes like, I've been knocked over. No, it blows up part of the Moks village. I mean, it's gone. And Moks are thrown to the ground and, there's smoke and wind. And I'm like, nice. Nice.
Yeah,
As a child, I wish to feel danger.
Yes.
Nice.
I want to be scared. I want to feel for these creatures. And they want to, she wants to also blow up a dam that is apparently their village is at the base of like a closed off dam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some.
She ends up,
that's actually a war tactic.
Yeah. So they end up smashing that dam as well, and all the Moks, or like hopefully most of them, they're in the water and they climb out onto this it's like I don't know, it's like a mound.
Yeah,
it's like a giant mound with a building on top, like a metal building, a little bit more built up than the huts that they were living in.
Yeah, it's like sort of like a little mock fortress kind of a thing.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm guessing maybe at some point it was like a bank.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. But they're trying to get out of the water, and then our team gets back onto the battleship, and I don't know what was going on. This was so awkward. I don't know what the heck was going on. Ukla's just walking, and his foot falls into a hole.
Okay, this is so weird, isn't it?
I don't. I even when I was writing my notes down, I wrote down awkward part where Ukla. I'm like,
steps in the hole.
His foot gets stuck in this hole, and a bad guy tries to swing down and get him, and he like bends over to like pull his foot out, and the guy goes flying and crashes, and then he like and he gets his foot out. But when he gets his foot, he doesn't actually get his foot out of the hole. It pulls up this perfectly, rectangular piece of the deck, and falls backwards. And a second guy that's trying to swing and get him again flies past him because he fell down and hits the wall. And then Ukla stands up, and these two guys are knocked out. And then this other guy just walks over to him with like a net. And he's just walking over there with a net. Well, Ukla's got this plank on his leg. The guy steps on the plank. On one foot, picks up the plank and hobbles over to the edge of the ship
with his other foot on it.
And the guy is still, for some reason, still standing on this plank
with a net.
And just dangles it off the edge of the ship. And I thought for sure he was going to make him walk the plank.
Yep.
Instead, he's like,
He waves to him
And that brings
and just tosses him over.
That brings back my point of the dude was wearing scuba gear and he looked scared. That's what I was referencing earlier.
He's like, "Don't dump me, Mr. Mok. I'm afraid of water." And Ukla's like,
"Yeah, me too, buddy. See ya." He just waves to him.
I got fired out of a torpedo hole today. I'm in a bad mood.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what was it was just so awkward to like, I can't imagine, writing that and like pitching that. Like, how would you just, I don't know if something got lost in, not like translation, but like translation between like writing it down on paper and storyboarding. Like, was somebody out sick that week or something? Like
I said earlier,
it's so weird.
We also have to give them credit now, because a lot of people, and this is not me like downing it, I'm just saying in most action shows, and there's a default for most action shows, it always basically goes to the default. DBZ, the default fight, we know what it is. You go to Fists of the North Star, we know what the default fight generally is. G.I. Joe, He-Man, generally a lot of the same stuff happens.
Yeah.
Give them credit. This time they were like, dude, let's try some madcap with Ukla and see what happens. I'm just saying, as weird as this is, give them credit. They could have just had him pick up like an oil barrel and beat people to death or something.
Yeah.
But they were going like, dude, I got this weird idea.
And they rolled with it. I mean, I was getting like Three Stooges vibes here. I'm like, what is going on? But it was good. It was good. I'm like, oh, they're trying. I was like, oh, he's walking him over there and dangling him off the edge, and then he's got to walk the plank like a. I'm like, okay, cool. But no, he just waves at him and just knocks him on the water.
And he like shakes the plank off of his foot. It comes off, and the guy just goes down underneath the ship. And it's like, not only was the dude afraid of water, but he probably just died just a very horrible death by getting ran over by this giant boat thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Okay, now the next move actually makes sense. This is a solid heroic moment. Thundarr and Ukla were fighting their way to the torpedo pult to disarm it so they don't fire again.
Right.
So they fight there, they get on it, and they're starting to knock off the torpedoes, and they're fighting the scuba pirates. and I'm just imagining now, as Ukla is shoving these enormous torpedoes into the water, that poor dude he dropped down in the water is probably down there going like, I'm just going to swim to shore. Oh, crap! Building-sized torpedoes are coming down.
My horoscope was right.
My horoscope was right. I should have been born in June. Oh, my goodness. Because at this point, Ukla had, like, a missile had fallen on Ukla into the water. And then Thundarr jumped in, swam down to help him. They get away from the torpedo, and it just sits there. And you get this shot of the torpedo. And I'm like, something's going to happen. Torpedo explodes. And Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire spews them up out of the water onto the deck of the ship. I'm like, okay.
But even before then, they completely just blew up the dam and completely flooded and just killed the Mok village, and just completely took out the village. So I was like, oh, that you actually had like casualties, or at least like living casualties with that. Or
some of them didn't make it out of the water.
Well, I mean more like housing casualties and stuff as opposed to living casualties. Which
right.
But I was like, wow, they actually blew up the homestead and actually showed it getting flooded. No. They weren't spared. I was like, wow.
Now, I'm just saying, if we were to make an expensive live-action Thundarr the Barbarian movie, this here would be the Star Wars battle sequence, because now we're at the point where that mound with like the little Mok fortress thing is, because the dam went down, is now surrounded by water with the giant aircraft carrier pirate ship going up to it, and you're seeing not unlike Wookiees, mind you, the army of Moks getting into the fortress and getting behind things as the pirates are starting to board the giant Mok Mound fortress area.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, I'm like, yes, we can all see this being done like amazingly over the top if like the Wachowski brothers or sisters, I'm not sure where we are now.
Sisters.
Is it sisters
Yes,
now?
yes.
If the Wachowskis did this, like like they did Speed Racer, I want the Wachowskis to come in with Thundarr and give me the Speed Racer treatment on this.
Yes.
Because I can see this shockingly over the top with all the water and the pirates and the splashing and the Moks everywhere in the clubs and it's everything about this is perfectly ridiculous.
It would be amazing.
I love this.
Yeah, it would be a great. Just the set pieces for that would be amazing too.
That's what I'm saying. Let's push the clear limitations of the show aside. Let's look at what is happening here, and what is happening here is glorious.
Yes. I was getting some Star Wars vibes out of this. It was just such a good. Was it? It's not crescendo. The ending,
like an apex.
Apex? Yeah.
Is that right?
Sure.
Climax.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like apex, crescendo, rhythm.
Big thing, happen, move.
But I gotta say, and this move affected me. I love this move. Is the fight starts. Thundarr and the gang and the Moks and the pirates, they're fighting, stuff's going off. And in the background, I adore this. And there's a reason why it was in the background. Ookla picks up a man by his ankles. And a pirate. And he is beating the other pirates with a pirate.
Oh, how did I miss that?
Dude,
I gotta go back and watch it.
You're just seeing in the background. And he's got this poor dude limp by his ankles, and he's baseball bat swinging this guy through the other pirates. And they're I can just imagine what it sounded like. Just people going like, oh God, he's got Eddie. Please, don't. Eddie, no. He's beating us with Eddie. Oh my God. And he was like, help me. Help me.
And the great thing is all you see, like the dudes, his whatever his covering, his like the balaclava is off of his head, so you see is like this brown hair swinging around.
As the pirates fall off the mound from being beaten by, I assume his name is Eddie, Ookla just swings the guy one more time and flings him off the side after him.
Just freaking like body yeets him off of the.
And I'm just sitting there. I remember seeing this as a kid, being like, "Oh my God!" And I watch it again as an adult, just almost crying, going like,
"Yeah."
It was
oh my God, this is amazing.
It was so funny because that right there, that's like, I don't know why, but that's my type of like just like humor where that would just get me every single time. Him just swinging a dude,
awesome.
Swinging a dude, beating other dudes.
That's awesome. I mean, that's how you do it.
After the other dudes.
He's like, I don't see an oil barrel around here. Eddie'll do.
Hey, Eddie. Those look like really nice ankles. Let me touch them. Grabs it.
Would be a shame if somebody used you to beat other people up.
His hair just flying everywhere. I don't know why that got me, but man, I was just like, look at that, just laughing my butt off. It's like this dude his arms are just flailing and his hair just going.
Okay, so remember the first episode we were all like, that moment where Thundarr stuck his hand out and just grabbed the guy off the motorcycle.
Oh, yeah.
That great moment where everyone was like, that is cool.
Yeah.
This is where Ookla finally gets one of those moments where you're going like, dude, I realized it wasn't close up. It was, but that's actually, I think, why it was kind of great is you're seeing him in the background. Just beating these four guys with another guy. I'm going like,
oh my God.
Ookla, thank you.
Love it. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that again.
Yeah.
Oh my.
It's
Uh-huh.
right before they start going into the
Okay.
Mok fortress.
Oh, okay. All right. Because usually, like, I'm watching this, I'm taking notes down, so I'm like usually writing something. So I
Well,
must
it
have
didn't last
been
for like
taking
a
notes.
minute. It was probably like 4 or 5 seconds long at
Oh,
most. So
wow. Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's about at
Check
the
it.
17-20 mark.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Oh my god. So we get that great scene that I have to go back and watch, and Captain Cordon is just like, "Yes, the treasure room," and she gets over the door and she opens it up and she runs in and I think she slams the door, and then Thundarr chases her in there, and the room is empty. Which I thought was great. I kind of felt that coming, just because it's like you get this whole build up to like this treasure, and it's right at the end, so it's like, okay, something's got to happen here. So I figured it was either going to be empty or it was going to be full of just like
food.
scrolls or food. It could be, yeah, food or
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
that's like,
whatever the Moks were really
yeah, valuable to the Moks, but not for everybody else. So
I gotta mention though, right?
job done.
Again, no big deal. Just a detail that I love. Right before they go into the vault,
Mhm.
there's a scuffle. It's no big deal. Nothing crazy happens with the scuffle, other than a chandelier is involved as Thundarr is beating up on the scuba pirates.
Oh
And
yeah.
the chandelier is made of televisions with busted tubes and candles stuck in the busted tubes of the televisions.
Oh my gosh, why am I missing so much stuff? I did not see that. Oh
You
my gosh.
got to keep in mind, I know this show, so I'm
Hmm.
a little desensitized, so I kind of can spend some time looking at stuff. And the chandelier is big televisions with shattered tubes and candles stuck in it. So the Mox created a chandelier of ancient televisions and candles.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah. So
Oh
again, I just put it up into the category of not like a great big deal,
yeah.
but give them credit. They're doing the whole Mad Max apocalypse universe like to a T.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I definitely have to go back and check. This has got a lot of detail into it. I think, like I said, I think they put a lot more work into this one. A lot of money. Just the set pieces are great. The story's great. The characters are great. There's a lot of little details in there that are just great. Um, eh, you know, job well done. I mean, that was the end of it. She couldn't get her. You know,
You
she
get
said,
nothing.
"Okay, there's no treasure, so that's the end of these guys." Apparently, like, they can't fight their way back to their ship and like escape again. Pirates out. I guess I don't know.
Basically, what kind of happens here is it's her, about 4 or 5 guys left.
Yeah,
And they find out the whole there's nothing in the vault. And so Ukla and Thundarr just throw them in the vault, and I think they shut the vault closed behind them. I think
they did.
and they were just
Well,
kind of like, you know what? This is going to make a great prison. The
yeah,
Mox will probably eat you once your meat is nice and tender. And then
yes,
kind of
yes.
open the door and leave.
Well, and then there were so few pirates left, and Captain Cordon, and she gets in there. If it was full of all this treasure she was looking for, at what point would she have been able to like take it? Because she was already like cornered and pretty much defeated at that point. So, eh.
Plus, there's this nice bit where this tells you how smart the Mox are, even though you can't ever understand what they say. Is at the end, the pirates are gone. It's kind of over.
Mhm.
Thundarr just sort of goes like, "So, what's up with the treasure?" And the chief just looks at the mound and hits the mound, and a chunk of just mud and stuff comes off. And the mound is a stack of gold bullion covered in mud.
I love it.
And so it's just like so they didn't realize that there's way more treasure there than they ever thought. And the Moks are just like, dude, cover it in mud and let's put a vault on top that's full of nothing. So if some dumb bastard comes along, he's gonna try to rob the vault. And other guy's like, maybe we should fill it full of something funny like dirty socks. And the other Moks are going like, we don't have socks. Okay, let's just keep it empty. Like it's just this big ha-ha that the Moks created on purpose. And everyone goes like, so maybe this happens like once a week where like another horrible robber shows up and they're like, oh my god, it's empty. And then all leaving the Moks are like, ha ha, we tricked them again. Good thing they didn't have a shovel and just, dug a hole.
Right.
Maybe the Moks do that. Maybe they're using the anglerfish technique. That is like drawing them.
That's what they eat.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
People that show up to get the treasure.
Oh, that's what they do.
And they're not cannibals because Moks aren't humans.
That's very true. It's just meat at that point.
Yeah, I was going to say they just take their resources, but that's going a bit further than I was thinking. But okay,
we are talking apocalypse here. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's in apocalypse shows there's lack of food, there's lack of water, there's lack of gasoline.
If you can't beat it, eat it.
If you can't beat it, eat it.
Well, I mean, and you said anglerfish, so I thought you meant food. So
my meat. So good. Oh man. So yeah, this was a really great episode. Any final thoughts on this one?
This one was a fun episode.
This was the best. I don't know. Other than the first episode, I think this might be my second favorite.
Yeah, this is good. It's what
so
I mean.
Far.
It's what I like about this show. It's not every single one is perfect. It's that almost every single time you do an episode, they do something completely crazy different. So like the episode where I'd go like, yeah, it's all right. I thought it was fun, blah, blah, blah. But it's not the one with the astronaut lizard with the snakes coming out of his face. Or the river pirates with the giant aircraft carrier ship fighting the Mok village.
Exactly.
These ones where, and I can't say what some of the stuff coming up because it would spoil things for you. And TV land out there. I don't want to spoil it for people out there in TV land. But ultimately speaking, there's these moments where you and I might not be super geeked about a moment, but somebody else would be like, dude, the episode with the thing and the thing, that was awesome. And the rest of us are like, yeah, it was pretty good. I guess I just wasn't excited about that thing. But this guy is, this guy loves that thing, that crazy thing.
Love all this stuff. So I'm looking up the next episode on Wikipedia here. This was episode 5, Treasure of the Moks. The next episode is episode 6, Attack of the Amazon Women. Now, I have just noticed that on Wikipedia, these episodes are listed with the location that these episodes take place.
Okay, now with this one, now the other ones, it was very easy to guess.
Yeah.
But with Treasure of the Moks, does it say? Because this one just looks like a coast. They didn't say...
It says Norfolk, Virginia. Very specific.
That makes sense. I believe there's a big shipyard out there, isn't there? But there's nothing specifically saying that, though.
No, I didn't see any kind of, other than, the naval facility or naval base or whatever it was. Some of these are pretty generic, like New York, Manhattan, Cape Canaveral, Florida for Mindoc the Mind Menace, or Mindoc.
Okay, now I got to call slight BS.
USS Wisconsin Battleship Museum is in Norfolk. Yeah.
Okay, now I think there's a good chance that this person is right, but this also might be the power of Wikipedia, where a fanboy went in and created knowledge where there wasn't any.
Okay.
But this is a good guess. I mean, this is way better than I would have. So if there is actually a location here, Wikipedia probably has it right, but we didn't see anything in it that specifically said it was that.
No, because it didn't. The sign in the water for the ship museum area, if it was the ship museum area, it didn't say Norfolk. There were no other words on there to like. There was no VIR or anything like that to like.
U.S. Naval Base, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it would. To me, it would make sense if the path that they're taking and all. So, I mean.
But what I want to know is episode 2, Harvest of Doom.
That's actually probably a pretty good guess.
These locations.
Yeah, Mexico.
Yucatan Peninsula.
Chichen Itza, Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico.
Chichen Itza.
Oh, because of the flowers?
because of that temple they went through. There was a South American temple there.
Oh,
But again, it's
okay.
like, well, we don't know it specifically that, but that's a
Right.
good guess. I'll give them that. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
that is it.
Well, and now also with the design of the temple, I mean, if that's the specific temple I'm thinking of, because I actually remember looking, like studying as a kid, the Chichen Itza area and stuff. That was
Hmm.
the name sticks in my head, so I look up weird stuff when stuff
Oh, yeah.
like that as a kid. But yeah, that was a particular temple that was one of the pyramids in
Oh,
there, and
okay.
in the Yucatan. Yeah.
I do like that episode 4, Raiders of the Abyss. The location says New York. There's actually a note there that says Ariel refers to U.S. Badlands, but the ruins of New York City's Empire State Building and World Trade Center Twin Towers appear later in the background. So it's kind of nice that there's that little note there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any other notes, but
So
I
whoever
don't
did
want to.
this, good for them, because honestly,
Yeah,
some of this stuff, it might be a little hard to prove, but they seem to
yeah,
be at least in spirit correct. So,
yeah.
and some of them, as I'm looking down the list, I go like, yeah, no, that's exactly where that is.
Hmm.
I know why they would say that.
Yeah, and I don't want to read any more to spoil myself, but
You,
Attack of
you,
the
you, you
Amazon
don't.
Women is Mount Rushmore.
No,
Like,
don't
okay.
read anymore, dude. You don't want to. You don't want to.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I want to be surprised. So,
Yeah,
yes.
there's little bits and pieces like some of. Let me see here. The next one, I happen to know that the next one is awfully fun. I like the next one, but I cannot wait for episode 8. Episode 8 is one of my favorites. Episode 8 is so good.
I am excited, just like I am for all these. So, yes, episode 6, Attack of the Amazon Women. I'm looking forward
and I will
to
not
that
say
one.
what it is. But it's not just some warrior chicks. When you get there, you're going to be like, what the heck? I didn't
I
see
love about
that in the title at all.
That's why I love going into these episodes fresh like this, because I'm just completely surprised by everything.
Do
Just
not
so
spoil anything for yourself, because that's the one thing I
No.
love about Thundarr is at these moments you're like, why did they do that?
good.
I'm not complaining. But
Because
there's
it's
no
cool.
reason. It's like that's a crazy. Thank you, Thundarr. Thank you. Like,
Thank you, Thundarr. Thundarr, yes.
Thundarr, yes.
All right. Well, that's all I got for this episode, guys. Thank you so much
Oh, thank you.
for getting back to this. Anybody who's listening, if you're listening on iTunes or anywhere else where you can leave a rating or review, we would very much appreciate that. That would help us get out there. Or comment. Anything that you can do to give us feedback, or maybe share the episode with some friends who you might think would enjoy this as well.
Well, plus there's the whole bit of, I still think that this show deserves to have more people out there watching it and loving it.
Yeah.
And by all means, comment on it. Let's bring some more people into the fold, because He-Man deserves everything it gets.
Yes.
Thundarr,
Absolutely.
however, does not get enough love. I really mean that. I think that I'm not going to say we're going to take over the world. I'm not saying that at all.
Right.
I'm just saying Thundarr deserves more love than it gets. And come on, let's talk about this show. I love this show.
It's great. Like, I was thinking about it earlier, and I was just like, He-Man's good. He-Man's great. I still go to the store and I see toys. It's still holding strong, but Thundarr has just got some flavor in it that just He-Man doesn't touch, and that's what I love about this. It's just so fun.
And it goes places with the characters. Now, it doesn't go deep. I'm not saying it goes deep, but
Right.
like that whole bit with, but I'm pretty, right, Thundarr? And the fact that whole bit where he doesn't look at her and he just rides off. There's not a moment in He-Man like that. With Thundarr, he's kind of a jerk. And I kind of love the fact that he's kind of a jerk.
Yes. It's awesome. Oh, so good. So good.
Yeah.
But anyway, close out. My name is Jay with Retropop Gaming. You can find me right here on the Saturday Morning Beefcast. You can also check out my other podcast, the Retro Popcast. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Yes, that stuff. And where can we find you guys?
Well, right now, our website, though not great, is there, supersecretprojectx.com, where you can find us. most Sundays. Every once in a while, we take a Sunday off, but most Sundays, Twitch. If you go to the Twitch channel, Super Secret Project X, our live stream also goes to our YouTube channel, Super Secret Project X on YouTube. And I believe we have successfully got it to go onto Twitter, but no one has commented. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure if I want to create a big Twitter following because things seem to get a little toxic on Twitter, and I don't like toxicity. I just love people sharing the love. I think we got enough toxic in the world. I just want the love. So yeah, you can find us there. And,
we want all the love, all of it. Just bring it in.
I mean, basically, yeah. I just want to have fun and lighthearted and yada yada. And we are right now. We're working on ebooks and this and that, and when we get that ready, we'll pop them up. But right now, I do not believe in releasing things until I'm proud of them, and they are deserving of people's eyes. So as it is right now, you can catch our live streams.
Sounds good.
But we're growing slowly.
What do you do on your live streams, Aric?
Oh yeah, no, maybe I should do the thing.
I knit handkerchiefs.
Yeah, well, when I was younger, I wanted to be a professional character designer. As it turns out, that's actually pretty difficult to become. So what I do instead, I work on my own characters, but during the live streams, I firmly believe that I can learn things from all these different cartoon characters. So we grab a different, sometimes new, often classic cartoon characters, sometimes American, sometimes Japanese, whatever. We pick characters that I like, that we like talking about, and I do a head study, and we draw it. You got a camera looking right down on the sketch, and we do everything from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures all the way to, original Popeye. I mean, we do whatever at the time that we kind of feel is fun. And then we chat back and forth with whoever joins us, and we talk about, so we just kind of have fun. The sketch usually lasts 40 to 50 minutes, and it's not like an amazing big deal, but you can ask questions or talk to us, and I'll just go in and I'll try to conquer a character. And there's a few characters I haven't conquered yet, and I'm not happy with them. There's a few characters that turned out way better than I thought they would, and it's just about the love of drawing characters and talking about cartoons and stuff. So
yeah, it's definitely fun when I can get a chance to pop in and just shoot the stuff and just talk about those good old cartoons.
It's just a relaxing kind of hangout, really.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice and chill. I like that.
Yeah, honestly, that's kind of the existence I want. Like this, I like this.
Yeah,
this to me is good.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to do fakey and internet-y, but what's the point of that? That's not real.
Right.
So.
Right. No, I'd rather do this. And we'll be doing it again for the next episode. But for now, have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, have a good morning.
Or good morning, afternoon. Maybe you're in the bathtub. Who knows, listening to the Saturday Morning Beefcast. But check us out next episode. And have a wonderful rest of your weekend, guys.
Yeah, have a great one, everyone.
Woo!